Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land where this is going live. Please like and subscribe to my channel. If you are going to be here for the Antarctic Press title reviews, please do so. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson, and welcome to the broadcast. We are doing some of the initiative program that we get to, do with Mr. Ben Dunn and all that good stuff. I already recorded this once, but as I'm looking at it, my sound decided to stop working throughout the broadcast. So I was talking and nothing was going to be heard. So, without further ado, we're going to get into this. I really liked this one, and not just because it was a half naked chick. Okay, maybe just because it was a half naked chick, but it was a fun little read. Not a whole lot of verbiage throughout this whole thing, so there was not a whole lot of reading that you had to do in this. Think of Playboy or things like that, where you don't have to read a lot. Just kidding. Now, reading helps your brain, folks. Reading helps your brain. All right. So this is Tibbi and her time-traveling psychedelic mushrooms one-shot from Antarctic Press. Great little thing. Got a great creative team on here. This is one of the covers. You get two different covers for this book. There is a cover A and a cover B, both by Damian Torres. Great. He's a phenomenal artist. Or she. I don't know. Can't assume anymore. But you got W.S. Quinton, Damian Torres, Dakota Orhan, James Lee, Taylor Esposito, and Alexa Veldhusen. All right, that is your writer, sequential art, interior colors, logo, lettering, and editing. And then, of course, you got Trippin' Time Travelers. I'm assuming these are sponsors that help make this book possible. Christopher Wilson, Kim DeMolder, think X-Files. Arcana's Workshop, LLC. Arcania's Workshop. TX, which could be Texas Him Vu. TX Him Vu. Logan Wingett, and Jose A. Gomez Godoy. And then, of course, you got Antarctic Press editor Doug DeLynn. Now, this book came out in 2024, according to the small print down here, September of 2024. So it's out there in the world already, if I had to guess. But again, you get two different covers right there, A and B. So this is your inside right here. All right. So this is about a gardener, quote unquote gardener, who's doing a live show, and she's signing off on the very first page that we see with the panels. And I'm Tibbi, your gardener girl, So you see her vegetable garden in the background and all that good stuff. So she is next to, she goes, that was a good one. Hope you like me today, Internet. Like we all think. We're all thinking that hopefully we can get a lot of views, we can get a lot of, interaction on our page and on our live shows whenever they hit. And that doesn't always happen, especially if you're a dude, Women have an easier time, unfortunately, because of, just like my shirt shows, TNA going on right there. That's going to get more viewerships than most men do. Now, you get some guys out there that, the stuff that they talk about is relevant, and they're going to get a lot of views, 100%. I get a lot of views on my channels when I do go live. I'm not saying a ton of views, but up to 3,000 at a time, watching, in a day's time whenever it's going. So I can't complain there. But you always want more. You want that 10,000, viewership, or, 5,000 viewership. You always want more. And that's how it goes. And that's how it's going for her as well. So she's talking about saving it to the cloud, and then she was wondering how yesterday's video is doing, just like we all do. We all wonder about our videos. So this is her contemplating all the stuff that's going on with her live shows. So she starts reading the comments that have hit, and she's showing that she had like 1,300 views impressions, profile visits 900 basically, and 3 comments. So she's not getting very many comments throughout her sections. And like we all tell ourselves, it's okay. It takes a while to build our followers up. You know, let's see what people are saying. And engagement is good. In engagement, right? Engagement's good, right? And so some of the comments are like we see, and we get emails about it as well, and DMs. It says we can help promote your channel. So obviously these groups have seen these people that have created this comic book have seen these come through, like we all have. We can help promote your channel. We can get you more viewership, things like that. And then of course, I'm assuming it's probably her mother. Good work, darling. Girl mom, 1974. And then, do you sell feet pics? Nice guy, 1970. It's hitting a little too close to home. 71 over here. And so she's a little discouraged as she's walking back into the house. Any engagement is good engagement, right? You know. And then she also says, any engagement is good engagement. My ass. It says, do you sell feet pics? Yeah, of your mom, you jerk. So she walks into her other garden room, and if you know, you know. Right here, all this garden down here. You see a covered table. As she walks in, she's complimenting the plants, coming along nicely. If you were ready, I would take advantage of my day off to enjoy you little buds. I think I'll give my little stinkers a try instead. After all, why taste a perfectly good day off? Or why waste a perfectly good day off? So she rips that cover off, and you see mushrooms down below. So again, this comic book is not for children. She's still talking about her, you know, expectations for the live shows and things like that. And as she's washing her hands and washing the mushroom, she's cutting it up so that it can be partaked in. Right there. And then you see her up in her bedroom. You've got rain in the background. Probably an Antarctic Press title, if I had to guess. I could be wrong on that, but it looks like something the Antarctic Press would do. Very well done picture in the background of her room. And she's naked, except for the robe that she's got on, and she's popping a mushroom. And now it's time for a bath. So she goes and runs her bath water. Family photos on the wall. Well, like nature photographs on the wall. Going to the bathroom. She's putting in the bubble bath, and she says it's perfect. So, this is where you get into the fun stuff for all of you adults out there. Again, not for children, because you get ass and side boobs and all that stuff. And then, of course, you've got, her naked in the tub, soap suds covering her parts, her lady bits. Well, the mushroom starts to kick in as she's sitting in the tub and she's falling asleep. And then, as you do, you slide down into the tub. Okay? Kind of like in Nightmare on Elm Street, whenever Freddy's hand comes up from between her legs. And then her mom knocks on the door and he goes back under the water. Well, this time she slips under the water. She's tripping. As you can see, the water color is changing here, in here. So the tripping is happening already. It's starting to happen right here in this panel where she's getting comfortable, getting, all comfy and stuff. And then she disappears under the water. Only to wake up in a different time, different area. She lands on this giant ass mushroom and it snaps off. She falls. This thing is huge. Soap Sud's still following her throughout her adventure. And then this is what I like. Instead of keeping your panels nice and square, they started changing it up, showing the trippiness of the the trip that she's on. You see these panels, how they are not straight anymore coming down through here. You know, everything has changed. It's not square to your page. Just like on this one, where she falls all the way to the ground, the mushroom falls with her. You know, all that good stuff. Soap suds are still with her. So all of you guys that are thinking that, damn, she's gonna be naked soon, it doesn't happen. She's naked, but she's not naked. Then she realizes, hey, there's dinosaurs. She says, wow. And then dinosaurs? There's a whole fucking herd of dinosaurs? As she's looking at the giant mushrooms, all these dinosaurs everywhere, and pterodactyls, and Saturn in the background. Right there. So she's looking around, checking things out. Okay, this isn't real. I'm tripping. I'm okay. And then she stubs her toe and says, shit, that hurt. So she's thinking, maybe I'm not truly tripping. Maybe this is real. But she's thinking she's tripping here because of the mushroom she took. Well, now we got some real danger. You saw it in that last panel, the eyeball there. Now you got this monstrous dinosaur creature coming at her that sees her from a distance. She sees it as well and realizes, nope, fuck this, and starts running. This is a fast-paced comic book. And I'll get to it at the end. So as she's running, you get this whole panel scene, which is awesome. This would make a great shirt in and of itself right here. Bum, bum, bum. As she's running, you get this whole panel right here. Pretty awesome page. I mean, that would make a great shirt in and of itself right there. So she starts running. She's running past everything. She's still cussing away. The artist, Torres, does a great job of keeping her face so that you know that it's Tibbi, whereas some sequential artists don't keep the face aspect very well throughout. Um, but he does, or she, Damien Torres, I'm not sure if male, female. Pretty sure it's probably a male, but. So she runs, screaming, no, no, no. She sees this big pool of water and dives in. Well, so does the creature, as you see in this bottom panel. You can see it in the background back here, right here. And then she comes up coughing in her tub with a big splash, spitting water out because she nearly drowned in her bathtub from falling asleep. Well, next thing she knows, she sees that dinosaur creature coming up out of the pool or out of the tub as she's standing on the edge of the tub. And she kicks this bubble that its head is in and knocks its head off. Pops its head right off with one kick. As she's still screaming no throughout. And then, what the fuck? As it's still gurgling from it being decapitated. Now she has a dinosaur head in her bathroom with her. And end of the one-shot story. Now, this would make a great little story to continue on. There's 2 little fillers in there. There's probably a lot more fillers in this book, but these are supposedly at the end. Collected comics and games in Texas. You've got the Fort Worth, the Haltom City, and Irving, Texas areas that you can get your comics from. And we did this Monkey Peak #1 a while back on a review. So, there you have Tibbi and her psychedelic time traveling, or her time traveling psychedelic mushrooms. Don't want to get the title wrong. So, with that, this was a good read. Again, not a lot to read throughout this book, but backgrounds are great. There's not a whole lot of backgrounds until you get to the jungle scenes. And then in the jungle scenes, it's pretty cool because you get a lot of background filler. You get a lot of stuff to look at. There's a lot of, excuse me, there's a lot of detail when it comes to the backgrounds going on in the jungle. The sequential splash page, two section splash page, you got all kinds of stuff going on. You got the background, you've got giant critters, you got the giant spider, you've got giant mushrooms, you got, I mean, but there's so much detail in all of this that, you know, it keeps your attention. You want to look at each and every panel because there's something happening, like the frog in there. For whatever reason, they wanted to throw a frog in there as she's running through the jungle. And, you know, the colorist did a phenomenal job of coloring up the whole thing. So I kudos to these guys. This is one that I would put in my collection. Both covers A and B. Again, I don't know if it's on Antarctic Press website or not, but it's something to check out because they have a lot of stuff on their website when it comes to being able to order whatever you're really looking for. Now, the last time I was there, I didn't see Tibbi in there, but I didn't look through all of their catalog as well. That would be something I have to pull up in their search bar. But this would definitely be one that I would have in my collection, just because it's fun, you know, and not just because it's a half-naked woman covered in soap bubbles, you know, as she's running through the jungle, which wouldn't be a reality. Um, and we all know this. But it's just great artwork by Damian Torres. It is a great, you know, little read. Can't so much say, you know, the the lettering because there's not a whole lot of lettering that needed to be done in this book, but there's a little bit of lettering in there. Mainly, this is art, you know, for the masses. So this is one that I would have, and I give it two thumbs up over here. And we would again have this in our collection. And again, I don't like everything that Antarctic Press puts out. So don't get me wrong whenever I give a great review for something, just because they're allowing me to review their product and print out and do what I want to with these up up to a point. Now I can't go reproduce this and call it my own and all that stuff. Which is a good thing because I don't want to. But so I'm not biased one way or another when it comes to these books that I'm reviewing. So that's the point getting across there. Because I'm not getting paid for reviews and all that good stuff. This is just something that they allowed us podcasters to do, to bring and just, you know, give you an honest review of the book. Now, there's been some that I've slammed, you know, because the artwork was childish and rudimentary and all that good stuff. This is not one of them. This is one that if you want a fun, lighthearted read, and you're into, you know, a little bit of smoke here and there, and you're into the mushroom partaking and all that good stuff, this would be a good book for you. Even if you're not a comic book fan, this would still be a good book for you. So, two thumbs up over here, yet again, and get yourself some Tibbi and some Antarctic Press titles. And as I like to say as I leave you guys, thank you for checking out the YouTube channel and the review. And we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day,